Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily Nostroza. How are you guys doing? So today I'm going to be talking about how to have an informational interview. And if you guys want to watch any more of my career and recruiting related videos, you guys can go to my channel, check out the playlist, and click on the playlist that says Get Your Dream Job. And if you guys want to continue watching more videos related to my post-grad life and any college advice, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and also click that bell button so you can receive notifications next time I post a new video. Alright, so in today's topic of informational interviews, I will be covering three main sections. First, I'll talk about what an informational interview is. Second, I'll talk about why they are important. And then third, I'll be talking about how to have an informational interview and what questions to ask. Alright, so let's get started with what an informational interview is. An informational interview is an informal conversation with a professional who is working in the career or industry that you are interested in. The purpose of this interview is to gain knowledge about that job, that career, that company, or that industry. Informational interviews can be done over the phone, over video call, or even in person. But obviously, due to the current COVID-19 circumstances, in person probably won't be likely, so I highly encourage you guys to set up video calls. Overall, an informational interview is just a great way to learn about that career or that job role that you're really interested in. I know that during my recruiting process, I reached out to peers at my school who had internships or jobs at a company or industry that I was interested in, and I would also set up informational interviews with professionals that I met during my recruiting process to learn more, get to know about their experience, and just know if this career was the right job for me. So now let's talk about why informational interviews are important. They are important because informational interviews allow you to get first-hand knowledge about what it's like working in that field, that industry, or in that company. And oftentimes these real-world experiences you don't often find in the internet. And so being able to ask a person and gain that knowledge straight from the source is just a great way to learn about what the job really is like. It is also a great way to learn about career paths or positions that you didn't really know about before. You also learn about what it's like to work in that specific organization and what the people and the culture are like at that company. You can also gain tips and insider knowledge about how to get your foot at the door, how to prepare for the interview, and ultimately how to get the job. You can also even ask them for feedback on your resume if you bring it with you or if you email them a copy, and you can also name drop them when writing your cover letter. Also, if the meeting goes well, it is also a great way to just stand out from the crowd and be a memorable candidate. And lastly, informational interviews allow you to build relationships and expand your network with people who are working in the career or field that you are interested in. By going through this process of meeting people, having solid conversations, and developing genuine relationships, it ultimately helps you because these people will be more inclined to help you and support you in your recruiting process to make sure that you get a job. Overall, there are so many benefits to having an informational interview, so if you guys are recruiting, I highly encourage you all to set up informational interviews. Alright, so lastly, I'm going to be talking about how to have an informational interview and what questions you should ask. And I have 7 steps for how to conduct an informational interview. So step number 1 is to research the career and company. You want to learn as much as you can from the internet before asking a professional so that you don't waste their time, so that you can narrow down your research, and so that your questions can be more specific. You also want to make sure that you thoroughly search through the internet because you want to sound and look like you actually did your research. If you can mention some facts or some interesting things that you learned about the company or job role during the interview, it can look really good on you. Step number 2 is to find people to interview. So the first thing I recommend you search through is your LinkedIn network. And if you can't find anyone there, then go on and ask your family, your friends, your coworkers, or even your professors if they know somebody who's working at that company or that has a job role in an industry that you're interested in. And if you are a student, also make sure to reach out to alumni from your school. Utilize LinkedIn or go to your school's career center and see if they know any professional or alum that you can ask. Step number 3 is to prepare your introduction. Your introduction can simply be your 30-second elevator speech, but if you don't have that ready, then just come up with an introduction of yourself where you share your background, what you've done, what you're doing, and what you want to do, as well as what your goals are and what you hope to achieve from the informational interview. Step number 4 is to prepare open-ended questions. You want to make sure that you prepare your questions because it always looks good during any interview, and you also want to make sure that you ask questions that are appropriate for your career career interests and that stage that you are in your recruiting process. And in preparing your questions, my biggest advice is to come up with questions that you are genuinely interested in knowing about. Asking questions that you really want to know just makes the conversation more interesting, and usually those questions will be better than just some generic questions. But if you don't know any off the top of your head, or if you don't know what kind of questions you should ask, here are some questions. Why did you choose your particular career or job role? How did you find your passion for the job? Or how does X company allow you to pursue your passions? What do you like most or least about your job? What does a typical day or week look like? What was your recruiting process like? What are employers looking for in their candidates in regards to their skills, education, or experience? What steps do you recommend I take to enter the field? How do you recommend that I prepare for the interview process? What are the most important skills for this job? What is the most challenging part of your job? Can you tell me about some of the projects that you have worked on? And always make sure to ask, is there someone that you suggest me to reach out to learn more? Or is there another professional in your organization that you can connect me with? And all of these questions are obviously related to the career, but it is also okay to ask questions to get to know the person individually and know what their life is like outside of work. You can also ask them, what employee resource groups or extracurricular activities are you a part of at work? What do you like to do on the weekends? Or what do you like to do after a busy day at work? These questions are usually good to ask at the end of your informational interview, just to make sure that you get to know that person and also develop that relationship and that connection going forward. Step number 5 is to reach out to the professional. You can contact the person by email or LinkedIn through direct message, and in that message or email, tell them a little bit about who you are and mention how you got their name or contact information. Make sure to emphasize that you are looking to learn more about the career or industry and not that you're directly looking for a job. And at the end, ask them if they have availability for a 20 to 30 minute call and what times would work best for them. Also, make sure to show enthusiasm and appreciation and always say thank you. Step number 6 is to have the informational interview. If you are conducting the interview in person or over video call, you want to make sure that you dress well and appropriately. Dress as if you were going to an actual interview because you want to make sure that you make a good first impression. Arrive or be ready a few minutes before the scheduled time. You want to make sure that you are not late, but if you are running late, make sure to message them or call them and let them know that you will be running 5 to 10 minutes late. I also suggest printing out your list of questions and bringing them with you along with the notebook and pen to take notes. Also bring your resume just in case if they ask for it or if you have time to ask for feedback. At the beginning of the interview, make sure to restate that the purpose of this meeting is to learn and simply gain knowledge and advice. Then go in and tell them your introduction, tell them about yourself, your background, your education, and what your goals are. Make sure that you go into the interview with energy and confidence because you are going to be leading the conversation by either asking your questions or responding to the answers. Make sure that you respect the professional's time. Don't go over the designated schedule that you guys set up. And then at the end, ask if you can reach out to them in the future in case if you have additional questions. And also remember to ask them if they can connect you with anyone else in the organization or in the industry. Those last 2 questions are very important because that is how you ultimately develop relationships and continue expanding your network. And then step number 7 is to follow up. Following up is very important, and this is what a lot of people don't do. So make sure that you follow up. At the end of your interview, make sure that you reflect on what you learned, what you want to know more about, and then what your next steps are going to be. Send a note 24 to 48 hours after the interview to thank them for the time and for the knowledge that they shared with you. And then most importantly, make sure to keep in touch with that professional. Follow up with them, letting them know that you took their advice or what the outcome of your recruiting process was. Alright, so that is all that I have for how to have an informational interview. If you guys have any additional questions, make sure to drop them in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up. And if you guys want to watch any more videos revolving around my post-grad life and any college advice, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also click that bell button so you receive notifications next time I post a new video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching.